Hey guys, what's going on? This is Warren Inspired Ryan here, and we're just in a taxi going to the Doubletree Hilton Hotel.
We're live, my man.
We're live, right?
Hey, why you're live?
Oops. Guys, look who we got in the car. Look who we got in the taxi.
You ain't gonna believe who Warren.
Have you ever been in a taxi like this before?
This is my favorite taxi ride I've ever been in.
That's what I'm saying.
Guys, this is called the Mastermind Taxi.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Caleb Maddix in the house.
And we got someone, I don't know who this person is. I don't know who this person is.
That's
Guys,
homeless.
the energy in this car is Have you been in a taxi before like this?
Never this powerful. Awesome.
Never with this many great people in one taxi, and never like this. I mean, this is like
a cool setup.
Dude, I hope this ride is long because we're with greatness here. You know what I told my son, and you guys need to always remember this? Never be in the presence of greatness and not ask questions. You need to have a passion for questions, my friends. Right?
100%.
Always have 3 to 5 questions ready. In fact, have a master list of questions that you can ask. We've been asking you, like, let me tell you right now, if you think this man's a good speaker, he's one of the best speakers I've ever heard, but sitting down with him one-on-one, for you that are coming today, listen, just being a Q&A is a billion times better than speaking because you get so much wisdom and flow and depth from speakers. Just being able to pick we stayed up till what, 4 a.m. picking his brain last night? The one and I, come on, put the video on it, man. You know, hey, let's do it right now. Let's bust a few questions, do a little Q&A.
We can do that.
Yeah.
And so for everyone out there, it's Garrain, like guaranteed to make you happy every day of your life.
Guarantee, like Darren, it's Garrain.
Yeah.
Tell that to Caleb because he called you Darren last night.
Ryan,
I apologize.
On stage.
Ryan,
I know, he said he said
Garrain.
Garrain. I meant
I'm just actually just in a taxi with like world speakers. This is crazy. Guys, who's coming? Who's coming? Who's coming? I believe.
He's not.
I believe him. I believe. I believe I can succeed. Shamila, what's going on? Can't wait to see you.
I believe in me. Let's go. I believe in me.
Say that and add that the parent or like the mother or father hates spiders and they're really like frightened of them. And basically they have a child, and so baby is playing in the living room while they're like talking to each other. And basically the spider comes along. So do you think that the spider that the baby would cry? No. Or it would start playing with it? Which one? A or B? B. Because they don't know about a spider, so they would obviously start playing with it like any other baby would. But if the parent comes in, oh here's the bad part, and the parent comes in and they're like, ah, and they scream, and everyone knows that babies don't like loud noises, and they can sense that it's not a good thing, when actually spiders aren't that much of a good thing. I mean, look at the size of the spider. Look at the size of the spiders. Don't be. What did you ever do to the spider? What did you ever do to the spider? You didn't do anything to the spider unless kill it. And basically, the adult comes in and the baby senses the scream, and then the baby starts crying. And then babies have really good memory, so the next time they see a spider, they'll cry. And that's how you build on the fear. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to only be with spiders. It can be with water. It can be with anything that the parent is scared of. It just matters if you think of your child and think, how can I make my child their best version? How can you make your child the best version? Because you can't, take your fear and put it on the child, because that's not fair on the child. You never know, that child could have been born to be maybe let's say a spider talker. Like you talk to spiders and then you're gonna and then you find out, and then they find out that the baby is scared of spiders. So will that baby ever be a spider talker, or whatever it's called? It won't, would it? It wouldn't. Even though, don't forget the spider talker.
I'm taking away from it yesterday is really how dedicated I truly am to this work and the places I'm willing to go with people.
The event where we had it yesterday was, I lived 2 minutes away from it, in a broken down university that wasn't being used as a college no more. And I met Jojo and she believed in my vision. And I said to her one day, Jojo, and I had to walk through that same hotel. And I was spending £3.70 a day on food. And I walked through the entrance with my shoulders back, my chin up and saying, one day this is gonna happen. People don't know yet because they have to see it to believe it. It's already happened in my head. So my aha moment from yesterday was, I just looked at everyone when I was on that stage and I really looked into their eyes, their souls, and I just looked up. And I looked up and I said, I had faith. And that was my aha moment.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, first of all, thank all you guys for coming as well. I respect you for it. And it's our first time in the UK, and the hunger that was here yesterday from everyone to really want to grow and learn. And just these guys' energy and attitude and spirit, not only what they said was powerful, but even just in the conversations of what they've already poured into my son. So I guess just the whole like attitude and energy of the event, I felt like we won't even know, even in the written testimonies or whatever, we won't even know the impact that was made yesterday. I mean, there was a movement launched yesterday. It wasn't just an event, it was a movement. And that's what I feel like, you know, this man is going to lead a movement of entrepreneurs and people that are hungry for real success and what success is really all about.
Wow.
You know, I had a lot of aha moments, like listening to all the speakers, but I think my biggest aha moment didn't come from whenever the speakers were speaking. It was how every single one of them acted, like how they carried themselves, you know, the kindness that they showed to me, the humility, it's just, that's kind of my biggest takeaway, is just seeing, you know, how they interacted, because I've watched like all you guys on video before and I have the highest respect for you guys. So I think that was my biggest takeaway, is how they interacted with people, how much they cared, how much they're really there to impact. Because I've been to a lot of events with people who make millions and millions and millions of dollars, and then they won't even like take a picture with someone. They won't shake someone's hand. They're like, no, you have to pay for that. So it was just really refreshing and cool to see all the speakers, you know, the knowledge that they shared, but the real impact that they wanted to make and how kind they were to me. So I appreciate it.
Wow. My habibi.
I observe a lot of things, and I noticed a lot of people came in there with a lot of hard faces, like whatever they were going through in life, and it was just hard faces. And by the time everybody left out, it was almost as if they'd all tapped in to an area that they hadn't reached in a long time, and they left almost as if these adults were like little children.
First of all, I think my thoughts go out to anybody that weren't able to make it to the event. It really sucks that you weren't able to be there for your own sake. It was an amazing event. Next year or next time Warren does the next self-development event of the year, it's going to top it off, I know for sure, because it can only get better. From my standpoint of being on the stage and looking out at the audience, it looked like everyone was there sitting with a plate, knives and forks ready to eat. Like they were hungry, really hungry. It was just, I saw a lot of people taking notes, and they were really interactive. Like I find that some events you're like, you've got to keep, like, can you hear me out there? Can I get, yeah? Like it was just once and everyone's like, yeah, you know, everyone was really engaged. And I love that at this event. One thing that Garrain said, you know, I sit in self-development a lot. I get mentored by a lot of incredible people, and I'm constantly feeding my mind, but I'm always trying to walk away with at least, like, even if it's just one nugget or one line or one concept or one angle or thought or perception that I'm happy in. And one of them actually that Garrain dropped was, he said that like your mind is like a GPS and your thoughts are the address. You know, and that was it. Like if I just took that away from it, I'm going to sit with that and be like, it's going to just hardwire even more on how powerful our mind really is. So that was great, and just to see the way that Caleb showed up and really proved that age is nothing but a number was amazing. And like JuVan, I've seen JuVan speak many times before, and you know, we had spoken last together on stage, I think around April this year. He'd been traveling around the world doing workshops, and then for me to see him 6 months later, I was just I just saw massive growth. And I think when you're in it yourself, you don't see it because it's like, to you it's the small percentages, but I definitely saw him double up on everything that he's ever done. So I'm proud, man. It was just really awesome to be here. Warren, you pulled this off. It's awesome to see how great Matt is as a father. And Julia, I was proud of you getting up and sharing your story and your insights. And yeah, all around it was amazing. I think at the end of the day, like we get to choose where we live emotionally, and I think that there were so many people that chose to be in such a positive place, and there were so many open-minded people, and I think that's all we could ask for as speakers, is that everybody comes with a very open mind. And it's cool just to like go down in the crowd and just have so many people like, hey, can I get a photo? And while they're there, they're asking questions and getting so much more value, and I'm so happy to share more with them. So all in all, it was a massive success. So Warren, you tore it up, man. You should be proud.
I think since the first concert I ever went to, I was 5 years old, and I don't remember much of it, but my mom told me the whole time that I was watching the audience. So it was Edie Brickell. You know who that is, but so everyone's watching her, and I was just turning around watching people, and I loved watching their faces as they were moved by the music. And yesterday, you guys, I was just feeling that, and I just wanted to watch you and just look into your eyes and just pick up on that energy. I was just receiving so much. I mean, I don't even know if you guys could feel it sitting next to everyone. It was just like, I just felt so alive. And I think, I don't know who said this, it seems like it's been echoed, but Warren, just the way that you picked people, I don't know what that was, but everyone who spoke is truly who they are off stage. And to see that all come together, I just felt like I was learning the whole time, even from you guys.
See, her dad's the confident one, right? Yeah. So she could do this easy. Wait, so she
Oh.
could oh my god. Like, what's happening? Okay. You trust me? You trust me?
I don't trust no one. I don't trust her.
Okay. Tap. Where's my arms? What's this? Yeah. Tell them who you are, what you're passionate about.
Oh, I don't know.
What do you do with your hand? No. And then you don't come back next time.
My name is Hebak and this is Hoda. We're identical twins. And our passion is to create and make perfume. Yeah. But I did biomedical science, and I really don't like to be sitting in a lab. I've experienced it. Shit. I really don't want to do that for the rest of my life. But I had a passion for fashion and perfume, and I wanted to get into it. Not fashion as in fashion clothing, but you know, the inspiration behind the art. And I always wanted to do that, but I did science for the sake of making my parents happy because they think art is stupid. So yeah, so I did that, but I thought, you know what, I do biomedical science because it's a broad, and I can get into it's a very broad subject, and I can get into perfumery, which I need chemistry. I have to find the art in science in order to do what I wanted to do in the future.
And here comes me with doing computer forensics, completely opposite from any of what she I was stuck doing, because I like gadgets and I don't like people telling me that girls can't do what guys do. And I don't in my community and my culture, a lot of the times it's like, have a safe job, get married, birth so
quite a bit of children.
Yes, and make that man proud. Yeah, it's scary at first because I wanted to just prove a point. I didn't really I liked gadgets, but I didn't like computer, the coding and doing the whole geek stuff. I like knowing these things, I just didn't like being too much in it. But because cubicles not cool. Yeah. It's too box for me. But I wanted to create something that was great. And I love fragrance as well, because it's something that you smell nice, you always feel like you're worth $100. And even better, even when you're not wearing clothes, you still smell nice, you feel like you're clothed. It's great. And I enjoy it the most because sometimes, well, not clothes bit, sorry. What I meant was is that when you're wearing something, even though you're not from a place where it's luxury, you still feel like you have a bit of luxury in your life. And I wanted to meet from
elite, luxury and elite to the
from the ground, yeah.
From grinding to the, like Kanye said, I know this is not the best reference. Kanye West said that I couldn't afford the clothes that others wore, so I'm gonna make it myself. And that's why I was like, well, we couldn't afford perfumes. What I really like is £300, and it's crazy. And I wanna be able to buy it and feel good about it.
I love how you just come in here shy. You start saying it's cool.
Basically it's like Idris Elba. You know how he was from Hackney and now he's Idris Elba? I want you to know and not forget yourself based on it. It's like the hood meets the elite and they come together. That's our perfume. Because I want you to feel like you're always grounded.
How do you break through the environment when you attend the first time a personal development event and you go to your normal environment, but your old environment tries to hold you, but your new environment is pulling you? How do you break through that when you're very new?
Just understanding people in general. Your parents and anybody closest to you, there's a fixed pattern on life. They know how you date people, they know how you work at jobs, they know when you quit things, and everybody has you in a fixed pattern since birth. Anything that you do, it's not just self-development, but anything that you do outside of that pattern creates resistance and friction. Why? But it's almost like you have a best friend, and all of a sudden this new best friend comes, and you start spending more time with this person, and they're like, then there's a resistance between you and that best friend. They don't know any better. It's just that this new energy and this new frequency comes in that's taking you outside of the pattern. And this is the best way to describe it. The birds have to leave the nest in order to get the food to bring it back to the other birds to eat. So it's one of those things, you want to stay in the fixed pattern. If you stay in the fixed pattern, you are not going to experience the kind of growth, the change that you want. You're not, because you're inside of that fixed pattern. But if you go out of that, expect resistance, but it's gonna make you stronger. But expect it and go through whatever you need to go through. And whatever that is, once you create a new pattern for long enough and you start showing personal results, that's not the ones that they're used to seeing, like, oh, mom, I need money. Mom, I need money. Mom, I need money. If you go to another pattern and you're like, nah, no thanks, mom, let me take you out to eat. All of a sudden, they're like, hey, now their attention is totally different because you've now become a different person with a new pattern. That makes sense.
People have a hard time accepting you changing, not because you changed, but because you no longer fit into the role that they need you to be for their life. Yeah. And sometimes, most times, those people are our family, our mothers and our fathers, our cousins, our brothers, people closest to us, people who have access to our hearts. And one thing that I've learned is that you can love them. You can love them from a distance. And you don't have to like them. I've said this publicly. And my mother wasn't there for me as a kid. And it wasn't until I graduated college, my senior year, I invited her up the day before my graduation. I knew if she didn't come the day before, she wasn't going to be there. It's just how she showed up in my life. I forgave her. We were in the woods, went for a walk. I forgave her. I cried. She cried. And it was in that moment that I realized that I love my mother, but I don't like her. And I've had this conversation with her. I said, I love you. I just don't like you. Look through the eye. And those are the courageous conversations I talked about yesterday. Is having those types of conversations. I don't like her ways of being. I don't like her ways of thinking. I don't like how she treats herself. I don't like how she treated her kids or her daughters. But I love her. I would not be here if it wasn't for her. And if you can learn how to separate that, and to accept people for where they are, then they'll learn to accept you for where you are. And don't let go of your personal development journey because someone else can't accept that for you. Because if you lean in and you're attached to them needing to go with you, you'll never have what you came for.
Powerful. When I first got into self-development, that was probably after I left a series of workshops. That was the loneliest year of my life. Because it's one thing to be in a room with people who are operating from the same place. You know, you're all rising together and it's exciting, and you're in the room and you're feeding off each other's energy and everything's great, and then you go outside and someone's like, fuck you, and you're like, okay, let's go, love, 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 and then you know that happens after a week and you're like, this is really hard, because I've just seen the world in a completely different way. I've seen myself in a different way. But like JuVan said, then all of a sudden you have people trying to mirror back your old self, and you're like, that doesn't work for me anymore. So you can rise with me or not. And in my case, a lot of people didn't. And so I just remember thinking, okay, I'm probably going to be alone for a little bit. I know it's not forever, it's temporary, but I would rather, at this point, it's more painful for me to be around people who pull me down than to just be alone. And so I just had faith, and I had faith, and Joel knows I had to recently actually end a friendship because it just wasn't serving me. Many friendships, but this one, it's not like the one you could just fade out. I had to like sit down and have a talk, like a breakup, you know. Like, I can't do it. It's better for you too. But it's amazing. But it was really hard, and this is work. You know, we have really strong patterns and conditions. And I mean, the fact that you are starting this so young, and Caleb, it's amazing. And I wish I had these tools when I was younger, but it is a lot of work. And so to know that and to not get discouraged that going out into the real world can be very painful at first, but now it's been so worth it, because the friends that I have, the boyfriend that I have, they hold me up to the highest version of myself. And in relationships like family, I've learned to set boundaries and say, this is who I am, this is how I want to be treated, I love you. And if you can't do that, that's okay. But I can't have a relationship with you until you can. And then you invite people to meet you in that new space, and they do or they don't. And but it's so worth the work.
So many questions. Okay, Bridget was first. Bridget, hi. How do you guys practice self-love every day, and what's your favourite quote or saying in self-love?
What I would do to when I didn't love myself, I would look back at the child me, as if I can see the child me that didn't have a dad around, crying, and I'd reach my hand out, I'd vision the younger me, and I'd say to my younger me, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. And every time I said that, I knew that I couldn't love until I loved myself. So loving the child me enabled me to love the me now. And it's saying and doing it every single day and attaching emotion to your words. So you say it not from here, but you say it from here. That's what I do daily.
Amazing. Thank you.
Okay. Tegan!
So my name is Tegan Helen, and I'm from Cornwall.
What's your question, Tegan? Everyone say hi, Tegan.
Hey, Tegan.
Thank you.
Caleb and Maddix, how do I get my book to be best-selling?
Great question. The way you get your book to be a bestseller is doing exactly what you're doing. Getting out there on social media and coming to events like this, because you have such a dynamic personality and you're the real deal. And so there's not too many 7-year-olds in the world that have written a book it's good content. I've already read through half of it since we've been here with you. And then taking the book with you and your personality, it's just a matter of time. So getting it to people like this, I mean, you got Uncle Joel here, you know. All he's got to do is send it out to Addicted to Success, you know. And you got Caleb. Listen, I mean, you have a lot of people already that are in your corner. So don't worry, it's going to be a bestseller. Okay?
Yes.
My name's Jaden Thompson. What is the difference from a passive income to an asset?
Great question!
Man, that is a good question. So it's basically something that you have that determines your worth. So it could be like you have a business could be an asset for you, and then passive income is something that you're making without having to work. So it'd be like you have a monthly product that somebody pays for, and then they give you the money, and then you don't have to do any work. It just happens for you.
It's amazing.
So it's basically passive income.
How old are you?
10.
Good to have you here, man. That's awesome.
Yes, Habibi, stand up.
Okay, so my name is Vanessa Sam, and this question is for Joelle Brown.
Hi, Vanessa.
Where you from?
Come on, Joel.
Yes.
I'm from Croydon originally, and I wanted to ask you, how did you get your website to the top of the list?
Top of the list. Good question. There's quite a few different things. I came in at a really good time, so I saw an opportunity, and the opportunity came about because I was looking up motivation, I guess, videos, self-development articles and advice at the time. This is 6 years ago now, and I couldn't find much online. You know, and they usually say like the best solutions lie within the problem itself, right? So I was like, I need to create something. I need to create a space in there that I'd love to go back to and look at myself, but I could build a community around that and create a space where others can come in and be inspired too. So yeah, that's how it began, and we had a lot of traction in the beginning because there wasn't many people doing it. We focused on really quality content, quality over quantity, all right? Really good instead of like just pumping it out, putting out lots of stuff that's like half-assed. And consistency, you know, every day, just keeping up with it. Because you look at the online world right now, it's saturated. And so if you're not continually putting things out, then you become less and less relative. Every day that goes by that you're not appearing in someone's stream, or you know, people are able to easily access your content, then you're slowly losing and falling down the ladder. So yeah, create a system where you're able to do that, but also have fun doing it. You know, I was talking with Tony Robbins, and he said the day that you stop having fun is the day that you lose it all. It's like when you speak on stage, when you run your workshops and events, when you're writing a book, when you're shooting a video, it's like it's always should be fun. Make it as fun as you can. Some things aren't as fun as others, but at least have some fun in it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question.
Show us how to do it.
Now I am the voice.
Now I am the voice.
I will lead, not follow.
I will lead, not follow.
I will lead, not doubt.
I will lead, not doubt.
I create, not destroy.
I create, not destroy.
I am a force for good.
I am a force for good.
I am a leader.
I am a leader.
Defy the odds.
Defy the odds.
Set a new standard.
Set a new standard.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up.
Step up. Did you see the princess?
Be enthusiastic with your rage.
David Herbert from Cornwall. I want to say sort of thing.
Everybody say hey, David.
To JuVan yesterday, when you sort of come off topic to sort of say something that's all, and you had to say it because someone in the crowd knew that. I love that yesterday. I love that. But my question is to Garrain. How do you know how deep to go with your story? Last night, sort of when we got back about 11:30, I was up for a couple hours, writing my story. And how do you know how deep you go? Because stuff in my past, sort of, I'm not proud of, sort of quite ashamed, and some of it's not legal. And how do I share that without? How do I know how far to share?
I got the perfect answer. But I've been right where you are, but everybody else was around me was right where you are. So I didn't have an example of somebody that could share from that authentic place. Listen, let me tell you something. Most people think that you have to go through life, and we think that our gifts is like running, jumping, dancing, singing, and stuff like that. Let me tell you, the most potent gifts are the stories that you keep secret. Because most of the world is living in darkness. And once you open up and you let it out, now you become a light in the world of darkness. Now they say, oh, see, I didn't know that by me letting my stuff out, and it's very scary. Most people, they give you what they want you to see. The only way you can truly be free is to really be free. I was seeking freedom. I just wanted to be free. And whatever the circumstance was, then that's what it is. So I'll tell you this. We weren't created to be keepers. You can't keep anything. Try to hold your breath. And the more you hold it, the more uncomfortable it gets. Same thing with idea. Same thing with creativity. So many things. You hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it in, you hold it. If you hold your breath, the more you keep it, you'll eventually die. I can't even hold this water that I'm drinking. It's eventually gonna come out. You can't hold it. You can't hold food. Listen what I'm saying. It's real serious. You can't hold food. We got holes all over our body. We got poison. We sweat the toxins out. Digestion. Everything must come out eventually. So the more you hold it in, the more you don't create the space for something new to come in. The snake can't shed into his new skin still with all of his old skin. Like, imagine the snake going to the new skin and he still has all the little flakes and scales still on him. You know what I'm saying? So by me releasing that, and I didn't know that when I went out on Facebook. I used to go by the name Steph Jones, and I was like, you know what? I'm tired of using my middle name. I'm tired of living a life that people think is me, but like when nobody's around and the truth shows up. So you can lie to everyone else, you can't lie to yourself. And I look in that mirror, I want to see Garrain Jones. I want to see the real person. And when I did that, and I just released it out, and I didn't even think about what my mom would say, what my dad, and it can be scary because my mother is very, very insecure. I was just like, you know what? I'm not living in that dark world no more. And when I did that, that's when even my likes went from 40 likes to 2,000 likes in 2 weeks. Why? Because I had never just bared it all. And when I did that, and that was when in your own timing, that's when I realized that the most impactful gifts are the ones that you don't want to talk about, but that's where most of the world, they're just walking around, nice house, dirt swept under the rug. But if you can, whenever you release that, let me tell you something. Whenever you feel whenever you want to take your leap, that's when the net will appear. And whenever that is, that's when you can truly be free. And I'm telling you, that gift right there, when you can bear your vulnerability, you gotta go deep to get deep. If you're a surface person, you're gonna get surface level conversations all day. But my story's so deep, people can fit their stories inside of mine. That's why she was able to come tell me something she don't talk to nobody about as soon as she met me. And that's what even allows me to go into prisons and jails and speak real conversation, because what comes from the heart goes into the heart. So when you bear that and you just let it out, you're just like, man, okay, yeah, I went through it. Everybody in here going through something right now they don't want to talk about. Everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You think you're keeping a secret, but all you're doing is keeping yourself small. That's what I was coming down to. And I think I learned this playing sports, and maybe you guys have heard this too, but pain is weakness leaving the body. Pain is weakness leaving the body. You know? A lot of these guys share a lot of their pain and troubles, and people, I don't have enough pain. The girl said yesterday, I don't have anything that big, I don't have that stuff that you guys have, so I can't be as good. Do you think, I don't know if I was talking to you about this, I was talking with one of you guys about this, but the stuff that I share about my story and being in foster care and losing my dad and being sexually abused, I don't want to share that with the world. I don't want people to know that. I honestly don't want to share that. A lot of the videos I do on YouTube, this is me being very frank. I don't want to share that stuff. Because I give people my secrets. I give them, now they have something to use against me. They're gonna talk about me. I have those conversations too. But then I come to events like this and people have tears in their eyes and they say, JuVan, me too. I got that too. And it overrides everything. And that's when you have to come together and think about other people. Because this life isn't about you. Your legacy is that little boy. That's what I live for.
Tegan.
I was gonna drop in real quick on that.
Yes.
It's like earlier this year, I got up on stage and shared my darkness, and so a lot of people had seen a lot of the light. And there's a few things like I had smoked crack, I had paid for love, and other drugs, right? And so I shared that on the stage in front of the whole room, and I could just see the looks on people's faces of these people that had followed me for years, and they're like that. They're like on the edge of their chair like that. And I was like, I'm not perfect, right? And like I had to I was denying myself of being the person I really wanted to become, because I felt like, you know, the Jack Canfields and all these people that Tony Robbins that were on stage, I'm like, they're good people. I'm not a good person. I remember going to church and sitting in the audience and feeling dark. I felt like I couldn't connect with anyone around me. I felt like I wasn't worthy of being there because I wasn't a good person, because of the things that I had done. And you know, I was in a room with Jordan Belfort, who also did a lot of terrible stuff back in the day to make hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's turned his life around. He teaches people how to do sales in ethical ways. He's paid a lot of it back. And he said to me, he said, you're not your past, you're the lessons and resources you've gleaned from it. And that was the day I decided to write myself my own permission slip. You know, I wasn't waiting around anymore for anybody else to do it. And that was actually the day that I started Addicted to Success. It's when I birthed the idea. And so there was a lot of relief in that. And that video that got filmed earlier this year, I was like, I'm gonna have to play that to my mom at some point. And she kept asking about the video, she wanted to see it. And so I didn't actually play it for her. I got on a phone call with her, and I thought it was gonna be easy to talk to her about it. And my mom's a good Christian woman and straight-laced. And I said, Mom, I've got something I want to tell you before you watch this video. And I said, I get up on stage and I started freezing up. And I was like, I couldn't, like my body wasn't letting me say it. And I just started crying. She's like, what is a job? I'm like, I said, and I was like choking up. And she's like, it's okay, Joel, it's fine. Like, I love you, okay? There's nothing you can say that won't, you know, unless, you know, she's like, I'm sure it's fine. And so I told her what I did. And everything I said to her that I said, I was like, I did this. And she's like, like that. And I said, and I did that. And she was just like, okay. She's like, Joel, I love you. She's like, we all make mistakes, right? And I was like, relieved. And then I threw up like 3 times. And I got really, really sick, and I was out for the rest of the day. And I slept in bed. I was like laying in bed. I couldn't, like, my body was just beat. And that was the first time ever where I realized, I was like, man, this stuff really is in your body. You really hold it. It's your emotional body, right? Your body is like a library. It holds everything. So yeah, you gotta let it out, man. You gotta let it out. You gotta talk about it. You gotta, you know, reveal your truth. Life becomes easier. I felt so liberated after that, and I just like, now I feel like I've got like nothing left to show. I'm, you know, there's transparency there. You know, I've put everything on the table. There's not anything else that I need to share now. I feel even more free to express myself.
Wow.
The underrated one, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Jade, ready?
Go, Jaden! Go, Jaden! Go, Jaden!
Be the king, guys! Be the king, guys! At the back, be the king, niggas!
That's good.
Good question.
When I turned 40 this year, I took Caleb to a cabin to just spend some quality time together. We turned off our phones for 3 days, and we hiked, and we relaxed, and we were sitting in the hot tub on my 40th birthday, and he said, Dad, you're 40 years old, you've had all this experience, you've traveled the world, you've been around the greatest people. God forbid, if you were gonna die and you could only leave me one piece of advice, one, what would it be? I didn't even have to think about it. Actually, it shocked him. I was gonna have to think about it. If I was gonna die tonight, I can only leave you one piece of advice. It would be, you guys really wanna know?
Yeah!
Be master sales. The way Bruce Lee mastered martial arts. I said, in fact, I'm getting ready to take you on a journey of that, because I'm really big into sales. You watch Shark Tank, #1 question they ask is what? What are your sales? I love what you said. It is all about hustle and selling and marketing. Every activity you do from the time you wake up till you go to bed should be centered around sales, marketing, promotion, expanding your business. So anyways, for the last probably year, I've put Caleb on the most extensive sales training humanly possible, because if he can learn how to sell, you'll forever be okay. You'll never be without money, and you'll always be able to change the world if you know how to sell. And so that's what my best advice would be to you kids. Laser focused on mastering sales, and you'll have a lot of success.
So, my best advice for my kids up, I'm still a kid, so, I mean, what I would say though, if I could go back to like, let's just say 8 years old, the #1 thing I would say to myself is probably like 3 simple things. #1 is master sales. I'd even go deeper on it. #2 is master marketing, like, you know, social media, all that stuff, like getting that together. And then #3 is really the big thing, which would be always fulfill. So if you say, if someone buys your product, you need to do exactly what you said you would do for them and more. Like, I made a lot of mistakes with that in the beginning because I had so much enthusiasm. Like, I would sell something and then like, oh, this is way too much for me to handle, and then like it would go bad. So I would totally say, make sure that you fulfill no matter what, every single thing that you ever say in business. And if you can't fulfill it, then there's no point of saying it.
So, the business advice I give to my child self is this. Rich people are not all bad. Rich people are not all stingy. There's good people out there who are rich, and they use that money to help people. And I'd say, look, you're spending too much money, right? You're spending more than you're getting. So I would say to him, say to my child self, I would say, look, buy 2 bikes, ride one and rent the other. So yeah, so what I would say to my child self again as well is anything is possible. The bigger the reason, the bigger the why, money becomes the byproduct. Does that make sense, Vanessa? So the more you serve and help people, because when I first started out money, it was me, money. And I realized the more you help people, the more money comes. Does that make sense?
Big aha. I want to ask you all of your questions. I have a lot of passionate entrepreneurs coming to me. And do we have passionate entrepreneurs in the house? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. Are we all passionate about what we do?
Yes.
Yes. But there is a resistance when it comes to asking for that money. Even they deserve it and they have that value. How can you help them to overcome this, to break through that? Woo! Okay.
I got a perfect example. So, and this is not to say what I got. I'm just going to share with you a perspective. So, I just bought like 4 months ago, I bought a brand new Bentley, the only one in the world. It's custom. They don't have it. And people were asking. They said, "So what is it like to buy a Bentley?" Well, I said I have 2 responses. Because when I didn't know my value and I didn't know my worth, the Bentley seemed like it was this big thing to me. Like, oh my God. Oh, and I never even thought that I was even worthy or capable of being the kind of person. So I didn't even have that on my dream car because I seen like rich, older, I gotta be careful of my wording, older people, this is my perspective as a child, of a certain color driving that car. So in my head, I don't even think, but when it happened a couple months ago, I've added billions of dollars worth of value to the planet. And because I know my worth, it makes the car this small. So when you know, without a shadow of a doubt, what's inside of you and the value that you're giving to people, that you're putting out on the planet, and you can see it in their children and the ripple effect, and you can see it in so many people, all the cars and all the house, all that stuff, it starts to become really small because the work that you put out, that's 10 times more than what's expected, now becomes the giant. And that speaks more volumes than anything, if that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. Amen.
Wow, thank you.
Yeah, you know, I think I have no problem asking for the prices that I serve to the world. Like, I know I'm worth that plus more.
Was it always like that?
No, not really, actually. Probably only in the last 6 months, I've really stepped into it. Because I had to do an audit. I had to sit back and really look at, like, what have I achieved. I wrote down a list of all of my achievements. And actually, I'm applying for a US visa right now. And I've had to write up a whole bunch of recommendation letters and everything, going back through old resumes and achievement. And it's crazy because, like, I've been so soaked into my own stuff, and you could get lost in it sometimes and start getting a bit delusional about it all. But I really looked at it and I'm like, man, I should be so grateful for what I have been able to achieve. And so, like, just looking at it from that perspective, it's really helped me to build even more in my belief. And so I don't have a problem asking for that because I know I deliver the value. But Caleb and I were talking about this morning when I was interviewing him for the podcast. And I was saying abundance is a practice, right? I know that, like, the times where I have personally grown the most when it comes to self-development was when I put down the $20,000 to go to an event that I was gonna cry about for the rest of the year, paying back credit cards or whatever it was. Like, I was just really stressed, but I knew that I had to do it. And something happens to you unconsciously when you do that. You financially stretch. Right? And so when I was in that moment, when I put that money down in that event, it was like, boom, my mind was like downloading 5 times faster, and it was just absorbing as much as I could. I was writing as much notes down. I didn't even want to be distracted by anything. I don't even think I even took pictures or used my phone for anything. I was just in it. And I went and applied, and I made 10x that back in my business and in my life, and I'll forever have that value. And so I know that it's not what you have, it's who you become. And I know, and this is the exciting thing, I know my value is going to continue to grow day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. I mean, people like Bob Proctor and Tony Robbins, these guys, Tony Robbins netted like $6 billion from his 20 businesses, plus his speaking and everything else last year. He's going to continue to boom because he can step into any space and dominate it because of the knowledge that he has and the strategies he has and the connections he has. And so it's just like, you know, the more that you tap into that, the more that you practice abundance and stretch financially when you're in those trying times. Give away the money. Like, when you think, oh, I'll give away $500, the initial thought is 500, feels a little bit uncomfortable. Put in 750, like really stretch, start stretching and trusting that more is going to come back. It's a driver. It's a driver.
Wow.
For me.
Every one of us has to have a price breakthrough. You've all heard this, price is a myth. When value exceeds price, price is irrelevant. Like, someone will say, well, how much is your time worth? Well, like, so if you're asking me to spend a day away from my son, there's no price tag, right? So you charge based on results and the results that you can give for people. And I remember, like, I've had a long journey with this because I relate with, you know, Joe, I grew up strong, you know, I was a speaker in a lot of Christian churches for years, and I used to do high-level training, help churches grow from like 20 members to like 500 in 2 years. And I charged a lot of fees back in the days, and that was you want to talk about money and attitudes and like price myths. Dealing in like Christian churches is like major, price. Like you're supposed to do everything for free. So, long story short, last year when Caleb was blowing up, he was getting all, like right now he's currently got over 92 speaking requests. And for some of the biggest and best events, and someone called him from Australia and they're like, hey, how would you like to speak with Gary Vaynerchuk? Without even hesitation, Caleb, what would it cost us to get you here? Caleb was like, well, it'd be $15,000 up front and 2 first-class tickets. I was in the other room. I like ran. I was like, don't tell him that. I was like, don't tell him that. He like put his hand on the phone. He goes, like, I got this, As a dad, I've instilled really good money beliefs in him. My mentality was, hey, you know what? You're worth it, but, he's giving you an opportunity to speak with Gary Vee. Sometimes that's even better than the money, the opportunity. And that's what I was telling him. And he looked at me and he's like, well, Dad, where else are they going to find a 14-year-old speaker like you? So I was like, I love it. And they did it. A lot of times you're not getting what you're asking for because you're not asking with confidence. You've got to practice asking with confidence and not hesitating. Every one of you, if you're a coach or a speaker, you need to double your prices right now. Yes. And you need to start asking for more, because understand this, the same sales process to sell something that's worth $100 is the exact same sales process of selling something that's worth $100,000. So you got to have a breakthrough within your own energy and mindset and beliefs that I'm worth it because of the results that I deliver. And not only that, you're doing people an injustice when you don't make them pay. It's what he said. They will not have a breakthrough if they don't pay. People that, listen, well, I've done so much stuff for free through my years of events and coaching and training. People that got it for free didn't do anything. People that paid the higher prices, they had the biggest breakthroughs. We have a VIP day, it's 10 grand up front. The people that go through that have the most massive breakthroughs because of what he said. When you pay, it causes you to focus. You have such a mindset shift of, I'm going to get my worth out of this. And people that never invest in themselves are just wrote an article about this called Pay the Price or You'll Pay the Price. You got to start paying and investing in yourself, and then when it comes time, one day you want to be paid for what you're worth, so you got to pay others what they're worth. I always tell Caleb, listen, pay people on time, pay fast. Someone gives you a bill, pay it fast. Do it quick and pay it on time. Don't make them wait, because there's an energy with money. I mean, I could talk all day about this. I'm very passionate about it, but it works.
One moment that kind of showed me that price is completely a myth and it's all about value is we were actually in New York City and we went to this art shop and I saw this like painting, and the painting was literally just like a canvas, and then you could tell a guy just took red paint and then just did this. Like that was it. And it was just a plain red painting. And I looked at the price, and the price was like $1,000 to $2,000. It was small. This painting. It was small. It was like this big, all red, right? Wow. And it made me think to myself, man, like how is this? I asked Brian, like, who would ever pay for this? He said, well, I mean, it makes people feel good, so I guess they would. And I thought, man, then I should be charging like millions. But on a real note, like that made me realize, like that provides a slight amount of value to people, and if you don't feel that you can provide value to people more than a red painting can, then you shouldn't be in your business. So my advice is think, how much value am I providing? And if you know, like think to yourself, what is it? This is what I think. What is it worth for someone to grow their social media? What is it worth for a kid to be inspired to write their own book or start their own business? What is it worth? And then we just do that with our products, and we think. And we'll even ask people, what's it worth to grow your social media? And they'll tell us $10,000. And whenever they say that, it makes me think to myself, $497 for a simple course really isn't that bad if it's gonna help them grow their social media. So if you know you're providing value, and if you don't feel like you're providing value, quit your business right now and start something new. But if you know you're providing value, price won't be a problem.
Real quick, quick, can you write this book down because it helped me a lot? It's called Value-Based Fees. Value-Based Fees. You need to read that book, but it's a really good book that'll really help you just realize, you know what? Charge based on the value that you provide. Whatever that is.
Guys, I would say this with money. This was my aha moment. This is my breaking point with money. Was this, Veronica? The results that you saw in Vanessa before to where she is now. In money terms, how much is that worth? No, is it because of what?
You can't put price on it.
No, what's the P word?
Priceless.
What was it?
Priceless.
What was it?
Priceless.
When you realize that, when you realize the value that you give to, if I get you these results, rather than you spending 10 years, I get you there in a fraction of the time, how much is that worth to you? And they say priceless, priceless. And you can be in a place where you can qualify who works with you. I qualify everyone because I know what I deliver is priceless. So whatever it is that you do, you have to understand that the more you do it, you have to be the go-to person in that arena. And you only know what you do behind closed doors. You know the books you read. You know how much money you invest in yourself. And when you do it every single day, it's like, I know I can get results. But the question is, are you ready? So qualify your clients and realize that the value that you're giving them, time is more valuable than money.
Woo! It's just something for some reason when there's less of, when you're being paid less, for some reason it always seems like it's more work.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. Maybe you guys know the psychology of that.
Yes.
But it's just, it happens again and again and again. And any time that I've said, you know what, okay, it's less than what I wanted, but I'm just gonna do it. It's a smack in the face and a reminder not to do those things, because when it's the higher paying clients or the higher paying jobs that come in, they're usually effortless. They have clearer contracts, they pay you on time. It's, you know, for me, I do a lot of editing in my work, so it's one edit, okay, cool, boom, we knew what we were doing when we hired you because we know who you are, that's what we wanted, we were willing to pay for it. And so the time that you could spend negotiating with someone or a brand or a company that's not gonna meet you pretty much right away, it's just not where you say, okay, thanks. And you trust, you have to have enough trust that closing that door opens like 5 other ones.
So true.
I love that.
I know you guys have so many more questions, and again, it feels like a meaningful conversations, right? Yes?
Yeah.
And we can get on and on and on. However, we are so grateful for the time, for these amazing speakers. Like, what a privilege. People pay thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds to have this opportunity to ask this kind of questions. So honestly, just show them the love, show them how much you appreciate them. Wrap it up now. I know. So all of your aha moments, what we're gonna do with it? We're gonna share it.
You always miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. Think about that for the rest of the week and live it. You'll blow up.
Yeah, I'll throw out that I think this entire thing was a waste of time, unless you actually go apply it. Yeah. So I mean, literally, like, however much you paid to be here, if you don't apply it, you're better off just like taking money and put a lighter to it and lighting it on fire. Because like, this is not going to give you a transformation. I said this in my speech. It's information plus application equals transformation. So go home, do this, even though you're going to have people who try to discourage you, even though there's going to be moments. It's like, they were saying, growth isn't something that's like, yeah, growth is like, oh, I got to give up this. I got to give up this for it. I can't do this. So there's going to be struggles, but apply this stuff, stay persistent, and hopefully you can be on the stage here soon, right?
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this, to the reason why I'm gonna leave you with this. And you can take this to everywhere with you. To do what you love, simply because we all have a heart. We all have a heart, and you can live off the beaten path simply because you followed what mom wanted you to do or dad wanted you to do. This runs in the family, so you're a lawyer because they were a lawyer because they were a lawyer because they were. And it's this, but inside there's this child that's screaming out, I want this, do this, do this. I've always wanted to do this. So everywhere I go, I always hear people say, yeah, I just feel like something is missing. I just feel like something is missing. And they can have all this stuff, but then they just feel like something is missing. Imagine a child walking up to your leg going, Mom, 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 Dad, 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 Mom. Imagine you ignoring that child for 20 years and how that relationship would be. Do you see it? Okay. Now the stuff that you loved when you were 5 years old, when you were a child, the color that you loved before you found out that your mom loved blue, like the first color, or the tennis, or the laying down in the ground, and you look up and you see the stars, and it makes you, and it brings you a sense of joy and peace, or whatever that is. If you find yourself saying, well, I used to do this when I was a kid, and I used to do this when I was little, and I used to, or when an idea comes up, or when creativity comes up, that same little kid that comes up to you that says, Mom, 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 if you can imagine what that relationship is like, if every single time you do something, you don't do the stuff that you love, what you loved as a child is connected to your inner child, which is directly connected to source. So every time that you say, oh, I used to do this, well, when was the last time you went and did it? 20 years ago. Well, that little kid has been saying on the inside of you, Mom, 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 Dad, Dad, and it poses the same kind of disconnect and emptiness in the relationship on the inside of you as it would the physical, that physical child, and that's the thing that's missing. You get that, everything else is going to flow in accordance, 100%.
Yes. Yeah, so, 2 months ago I was on a podcast interview and I was having a conversation with the host, and he said something along the lines of, we're talking about being in your moments of pain and darkness, and he said, God won't give you anything that you can't handle. And I said to him, I said, like, let's flip this a bit. Let's look at the other side of the coin. God won't give you that dream or that vision or that desire until you can become the person that you need to be to get it. Right? And so I just think about my life and my achievements, and 5.5 years ago I was so uncertain. I was in the dark. I was living in this uncertainty. I didn't know what I was going to do. I left the music industry. Everybody thought I was crazy, and I started from what felt like scratch. And I remember sitting in the middle of the desert when I was a snake handler and wrangling all sorts of animals up in the desert in the northwest of Australia. I remember sitting in the car listening to Think and Grow Rich audiobook and Tony Robbins, and reading Gary Vaynerchuk's Crush It book. And I'm good friends with Gary, and I've been on multiple interviews with him. I'm in a film with Tony Robbins, and I'm in the Think and Grow Rich film now. And that was only 5.5 years ago. I was listening to those books, and that was my inspiration. And my message for you is your dreams are a lot closer than you think. And so it's just setting up a system. We all have systems that we're living in. Some people just have systems that aren't really serving them and aren't working too well right now. And so get in and really refine your system and structure it out in a way that will allow you to win, and just be consistent every day so you can get closer to your dreams.
Amazing.
Good stuff.
Wow. Hey, Julia. So I don't know the exact science of this, but I think the way that it works in nature is that if there's something that isn't living to its fullest potential, it will actually die. It will die. And I want to stress that because, if you were standing in a building and it was on fire, you would run out, I think. Most people would run out, life or death. And essentially every decision that you make, you're choosing from that urgency. Because you have so many gifts, and by not giving them, you are actually dying faster than people who give. You know, everyone up here is thriving because they're giving so much and they're living in their purpose. So I guess the challenge I'll leave you with for this week is to say no when something just feels off. It's that gut feeling you get, and a lot of times we convince ourselves it's not real. But you know when something doesn't feel right, and to say no and to document it. And when something is uncomfortable, but it's exciting, to say yes to that. And the rewards that you get from that will carry into everything you do. So that's your challenge for the week. You have work. Get to work. Let's go. Oh, and thank you for investing in yourself, your time and your money to be here. That's already, I mean, you have to acknowledge yourself for that. That's huge. It's not a small thing. So thank you guys for believing in me.
Kickstart.
Yes, yes, yes.
Kickstart.
Yes, yes, yes.
Kickstart.
Yes, yes, yes. So, my name is Tegan Helen. I'm an author, business owner, and inspirational speaker. I'm 7 years old and I'm a Princess Claire. Every day I was... As long as you take action and use the law of attraction, you can get anything you want. Even if it seems like a long time, you can always have whatever you want. So take action and focus every day. Because if you focus, even if it seems a long time, it will come to you. So always focus and take action every day. And we all have greatness within us. Thank you for listening.
Where can they get your book? Where they can get a copy?
We need the sale.
Copies of your book?
Look at everyone, Tito. Never forget this moment. This is your next talk. Guys, I want to thank from my heart, Garrain, for you coming to the UK, because it means so much to me for you to come. I watched your video. I'm going to cry. I like crying, man. It's good. It's good. It's emotional because I watched your video after I met Eric Thomas and I saw you and I felt your story. So someone just watched your video without knowing who you are. I felt you. And this is why I wanted to bring you to the UK, because I knew the impact that you were going to make. I knew the impact you were going to make. That's why I brought you. So from my heart to your heart, I just say I love you and thank you for the impact you're making in this world. I promise you, like literally, I risked everything to have this event because I believed in everyone that came to speak and that were there in that room. My girlfriend, I was like, what are you doing? You're crazy. I was like, no, it's gonna happen. It has to happen. It must happen. I brought the right people. So Garrain, thank you so much from my heart. Thank you, my heart. Matt? It's funny because when I first saw Caleb, okay, when I first saw Caleb, I said, this guy, he's 14 years old and he knows so much. Like, I'm looking at it, how does he know so much? But you know, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. And I read your story, man. I read what you sacrificed for Caleb. And not having a father in my life, and the vision for my son, I felt it, man. And you know, this is good tears by the way, guys, but I felt it. And what you've done for Caleb, that's what happens when you're in your child's life. That's what happens when you put your all into your child. And that's why Caleb is as blessed as he is, because of you. Joe? So I'm just randomly on Instagram and I just keep seeing this guy. Do you know those pictures that you had like from years ago and they keep just going all over the internet? Oh, yeah. You know when you like that one? You know those pictures? I'm seeing this guy and like he's just adding value and then interviewing Tony Robbins and all of these amazing, incredible speakers. And sometimes, you know, when some people get a lot of views and they start networking with high-profile people, they forget where they come from. Do you know what? Since I reached out to you, you've been down to earth from day one. You're like, how can I help you? How can I help you? And do you know how I got Joel's attention? I sang to him on a voice note. I knew Joel was gonna get a lot of messages, so I said, hey Joel, I'm gonna make you come to the UK. And we Skyped. Yeah, because I'm trying to say you're so genuine. Like you're so genuine. You are who you are on stage and who you are off stage, and you're making a world impact. And sometimes I know how it is because when you're out there adding value, you sometimes forget the impact, the lives that you're changing. So I just really want to connect from the UK, from me to you. The lives that you're changing, from what you're doing to Addicted to Success, you are changing people's lives. So I want to thank you from my heart for coming down here and connecting me with Julia. I didn't know this was going to happen, and then you came here and just hearing you speak yesterday, it was like, oh, it was supposed to happen. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming to the UK, because the UK guys, we're like 5-10 years behind the US, right? So we're trying to play catch up. Yeah. So I want to thank you from my heart for coming to the UK. It means so much. And everyone, right? We've got a crew from yesterday, so everyone that you're here, you are here for a reason. I promise you this, guys, I promise you this. And it comes from a place of love. Everyone that serves, they know how it feels to go without. And when you go without, or you feel people, regardless. If you look around you, we got Asian people, we got white people, we got black people, we got Muslims, we got Christians. It's no religion and it's no race. We're human beings and we're emotional beings. And I know that you can't get there alone. And when you connect, when you bring all the boats together, you make an ark. And my son, I didn't even know, calling my son's called Noah. From my heart, please take action. Please take action. Step up. No longer be an extra in your life. Step up. Because you don't know how long you're going to live. You don't know how long. No one gets out of this world alive. Take action. Everyone that you see on there, you've got the same worth as everybody else in this world. But yet, propaganda will put lights on some people and then you feel like you're not inadequate. You are just as valuable as everybody in this world. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And this is pure love. And this is why when people doubted me, I said it was going to work because it's love. People are emotional beings. You connect all races and religions together through love. I didn't plan it to end like this. I'm so in the moment. But just guys, connect with each other. Some people go to events and you don't connect with the people that are around you. These are the people that speak your language. They understand, they say me too. And what happens is the more of us, the bigger the impact. The bigger the impact. So, from the bottom of my heart, I want to thank every single one of you. I want to thank all of you because I'm not even joking, I've risked everything on that event because I knew it was going to pay off. I knew it was. Everyone, how did you know? I knew because I got faith. I knew. It wasn't me, I was a vessel, I'm being pulled to it. So I just want to thank all of you guys so much and give each other hugs and connect and feel each other before you leave. But guys as well, forgive yourself. Love yourself, and when you love yourself, when your cup is overflowing, it becomes so easy to love other people. It becomes so easy. And when people give you hate, It's not about you. You only see the tip of the iceberg. You don't see what they're going through. So sometimes when you're living this life and they look at it and they see it on Facebook and they go, oh, look at him, he's living the good life. It's not even about you. It's the stuff that they're dealing with. And when you understand that, the hate from your heart is removed. Because what you give is what you get. And when you give love, it comes back tenfold. So connect with each other. If you don't know each other, connect with each other. Speak to each other. Help each other. If you serve enough people, you get to where you need to be in this world. I don't do these events just to have events and you guys, oh my God, I'm living life on my terms for a day. Not a day. This is for the rest of your lives. The rest of your lives. I promise you guys, if you take action, the rest of your life will be the best of your life. Thank you so much, guys. I love you all, and God bless.
Listen, it's great to be around people that truly care. That's hard to find nowadays, people that truly care. You were talking about that last night. Share a little bit of that with them.
Okay, one, people don't know how much they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And one thing that I do know is anytime you're in a business or you do anything involving people, if they don't know that you genuinely care about them, they're gonna feel like a statistic or a number. So listen, there's more people being produced in the world than there is money. So focus on the people